How would we feel as a country if an airline, 50% of the times it took off, crashed? Would we allow that airline to exist? No, we wouldn't. But we allow the criminal legal system to exist. More than 50% of the people that are released from their facilities crash within the first 3 years of their release. And when they crash, somebody else gets hurt.
The criminal legal system in the United States was created centuries ago to uphold justice and protect its citizens. But depending on your race, gender identity, or economic status, the law might not always be on your side. 23 years ago, John Adrian JJ Velazquez was incarcerated for a crime he maintains he didn't commit. He was 22 years old when the state found him guilty, with second-degree murder having minimal evidence. While serving his sentence, JJ committed himself to learning the law, receiving a degree in behavioral science, and uplifting his fellow incarcerated individuals through several programs. In August 2021, JJ was granted executive clemency by then-Governor Andrew Cuomo and was released from prison the following month. Now, at 46 years old, JJ continues his efforts outside the prison system and hopes for a brighter future where cases like his won't happen again.
I'm an individual who happened to spend 23 years, 7 months, and 8 days incarcerated for a crime I did not commit. And since then, I have been advocating for what I consider real justice, as opposed to the fallacy that, society is trained in on and thinking is a fair system. I was young, I was naive, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of resources, and I lost a huge portion of my life. In fact, I spent more time in prison than I did in society as it stands today. The world needs to recognize that punishment alone is not enough to rehabilitate an individual. In fact, the prefix on the word itself is rehabilitate, when a lot of these individuals came to prison at young ages and were never habilitated in the first place. So how do you redo something that you never learned how to do in the first place? And so that's a big problem here. It's important that when individuals get incarcerated, that they continue to be exposed and connected to the humanity that exists in the world, so that they don't lose touch and focus with that, because what's happening is individuals are coming out worse than they went in. I grew up and spent my entire adulthood incarcerated in prison. I left society when I was 22 years old. I came home as a 46-year-old man. However, the sad reality was, despite all the work I did, all the self-development, all the research, all the studies, when I came home, no amount of preparation could have put me in a space where I would feel comfortable upon my release. I was a 45-year-old turning 46, trapped in the social capacity of a 22-year-old because I had missed out on so much of life. Inside prison, I was fortunate enough to find people who believed in me. And that came in the form of organizations that sent volunteers inside of Sing Sing. And so since I've been home, I went back to those same organizations that I was working with inside. One of them being Hudson Link for Higher Education in Prison. I had gotten 2 degrees from them. I was involved in their program from 2008 to 2014. When I graduated, I decided to pay it forward, and I became a program assistant and started running the program inside, helping other people get the same type of love and care that I was receiving. I'm not an anomaly. I'm not the only person, and Manhattan is not the only place where wrongful convictions happen. I was fortunate enough to be able to capture the governor's attention and be released, but the sad reality of that was that nothing had changed in the last 5 years that I waited for clemency. I was doing the work that I was doing inside long before that. I was creating positive programs. I already had 2 degrees. I was helping people inside. I was, doing everything possible to try to change my atmosphere, because my atmosphere was filled with tension, filled with violence, and I wanted to change that. So I worked with other guys that were incarcerated with like minds, and we started to create safe spaces for change inside. If we really want to invest in public safety, we need to treat these individuals while they're in there. We need to switch the focus from punitive to treatment and training. Train them to be better people, train them to have skills so that they can take advantage of opportunities. But at the same token, the opportunities have to exist. And the majority of people that are incarcerated because the opportunities didn't exist.
Yeah, all 20. Yo, look at Big Swole.
Oh, yo, what's up, man?
What's up, Big Swole? What up?
What's going on, man?
What's up?
What's happening, man?
Talk about
Is this a sign from the universe, baby?
Talk about
I've been used since I leave this stomach alone, man. I see what you was trying to do. That's why I grabbed your hand. I don't have no touch. I'm enjoying life.
So as the program director for the Frederick Douglass Project for Justice, I bring groups of individuals from the community, from 10 to 15, inside of correctional facilities in multiple states. When we bring these people in there, we're heightening the awareness. And a lot of times they come off, there's like this magic that takes place, and they come out of there inspired to help.
Education is power. You've opened doors for you. Like, see, now if I had this knowledge or this education when I was in the street.
Education is the opportunity. That's what put a lot of us on the map. If we can change these correctional institutions into campuses where education is available again. There are so many ways that individuals can help. The truth of the matter is, just by engaging with somebody inside and maybe forming a relationship and showing them that you believe in them can be the biggest change that anybody can offer. The one thing we have to realize is that we do have power as people. We have power through our voices. We have power through the ability to write. The written word is very powerful. And we have power to vote. Former Governor Cuomo had restored the voting rights of individuals who are released from prison in New York. And so now it's important for us to gather together and organize and mobilize and say, listen, we have a voting block and you need to listen to us. It's time to educate. The bottom line is this: a lot of our people don't vote because they don't trust the system, right? But we need to understand that we can influence the system. We don't have to trust them. We have to hold them accountable.
Absolutely.
And we can't hold them accountable if we ain't doing our part. And that's what it comes down to. I am hopeful somewhat because I see the tide starting to turn. Changes are happening. They're happening a little bit too slow. I hope they happen in my lifetime. I don't know if they will, but I know I will be a voice involved in making that change possible. Why do we wait till it's too late? Why do we march all these miles for people like George Floyd after they die? We have to start being on the front end of the movement. We have to start preventing crime.
The fight for an equitable criminal legal system is an ongoing battle, but formerly incarcerated activists like JJ aren't the only ones who can make a difference. By electing and supporting candidates who are working to support and bring new policies and adjustments at the local, state, and federal level, we can ensure that everyone in the United States has access to a just legal system. Visit vote.org for voter registration and polling information. Make your mark by ensuring your voice is heard. The time is now.